Have you ever wondered why your legs suddenly feel heavy, weak, or sore, even though you haven't exercised, fallen, or done anything wrong? And why this started after you began taking your cholesterol pill? What if the pain you're blaming on aging isn't aging at all, but a silent side effect slowly draining your strength? And here's the question most seniors are afraid to ask out loud. What if the medication you take to protect your heart is quietly stealing your ability to walk, stand, and stay independent? If you've noticed stiffness in the morning, muscle pain that doesn't make sense, or fatigue that feels deeper than being tired, this is not something to ignore, because weakness in old age doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in while people tell you it's normal. Maybe you wake up feeling like your muscles ran a marathon overnight. Maybe climbing stairs now burns in places that never hurt before. Or you hesitate before standing up, not because of pain, but because you're unsure your legs will cooperate. Many seniors quietly adjust their lives around this, avoiding walks, sitting more, moving less, telling themselves, this is just what happens at my age. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Normal aging does not suddenly make muscles feel poisoned, heavy, or crushed. Something else is happening, and most people miss it until damage is already done. What makes this worse is what you were told. It's normal. Just exercise more. That's the price of protecting your heart. Some doctors even say, at least it means the statin is working. But think about that for a moment. Since when is constant muscle pain, weakness, and exhaustion a sign of good health? Seniors trust their doctors, so they push through the pain, unaware that ignoring muscle symptoms in old age accelerates frailty, falls, and loss of independence. Most seniors aren't afraid of dying. They're afraid of becoming dependent, needing help to stand, needing help to dress, watching others carry groceries you once handled easily. Muscle pain isn't just discomfort, it's the first crack in independence. And when weakness begins, it doesn't stop on its own. It compounds quietly until one bad day, one fall, one hospitalization changes everything. Here's where people feel trapped. Stop the statin and risk your heart, or keep taking it and live with constant pain. Many seniors feel forced to choose between longevity and quality of life. Some reduce their dose on their own. Others quit entirely out of frustration, and some just suffer in silence. But this either-or choice is a false one, and believing it is costing people years of strength they can never fully regain. Now ask yourself this. What if your muscles aren't failing because you're old, but because they're being starved of something essential? What if the weakness, soreness, and exhaustion aren't random side effects, but a predictable biological consequence nobody warned you about? This is where things shift from frustration to understanding. Because once you know why this happens, the solution becomes obvious. Statins don't just lower cholesterol. They block a critical enzyme your body uses to produce cellular energy. That enzyme also produces something your muscles depend on to function, repair, and recover. When that pathway is blocked, muscles don't hurt. They run out of fuel. Weakness, soreness, heaviness, and fatigue are not mysterious symptoms. They are energy failure at the cellular level. Younger bodies can compensate. Older bodies can't. By your 60s and 70s, natural energy production is already declining. Add a statin on top of that, and muscle cells fall below the survival threshold. That's why a medication you tolerated at 50 suddenly becomes unbearable at 70. Nothing changed. Your margin disappeared. And here's what should really concern you. Your heart is a muscle too, the hardest working one you have. If energy depletion affects your legs and shoulders, what do you think it's doing to the muscle that beats over 100,000 times a day? Shortness of breath, fatigue, reduced stamina. Many seniors never connect these dots, assuming it's just age catching up. The good news is this: you do not have to choose between heart protection and muscle strength. There is a third option, one that allows you to keep the benefits of your statin while restoring the energy your muscles are losing. It's not experimental, it's not hype, it's basic biochemistry that should have been addressed from the beginning. Here's what should make you angry. This problem was identified decades ago. When statins were first studied, researchers noticed muscle energy depletion almost immediately. But somewhere along the way, that knowledge never reached routine care. Instead of prevention, seniors were told to tolerate pain. Millions adjusted their lives downward, not realizing the problem was avoidable from day one. Muscle loss doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers. A slower walk, a shorter stride, avoiding stairs, sitting more often. Each adjustment feels small, reasonable, until one day you realize you've built your entire life around weakness. That's how independence
dependence disappears without a dramatic moment, and statin-related muscle damage accelerates this decline when left unaddressed. You've probably heard the advice, just stay active. But here's the reality. Movement without fuel doesn't build muscle. In older adults, exercise with the right biochemical support often leads to more fatigue, not strength. Muscles need both a signal and the raw materials to respond. Without that, activity can actually deepen the deficit. Inside every muscle cell are tiny power plants responsible for producing energy. When those power plants slow down, muscles don't recover properly. They ache longer, they weaken faster, they fatigue sooner. This isn't soreness from aging. It's an energy crisis happening at the cellular level, repeated every single day. Many seniors try to manage this with pain relievers, creams, or heat pads. But pain isn't the problem. Energy failure is. Masking symptoms doesn't restore muscle function. It just delays recognition while deterioration continues underneath. That's why relief is temporary and weakness keeps progressing. Now, here's the question that changes everything. What if this decline isn't permanent? What if restoring what statins deplete allows muscles to function normally again, even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond? This is where hope becomes practical, not motivational. Statins reduce a compound your body uses to generate cellular energy. That compound is critical for muscle performance, endurance, and recovery. Without it, muscles literally cannot do their job, no matter how much protein you eat or how often you walk. Yes, this compound exists in food, but the amounts required to counter statin depletion are unrealistic through diet alone. Seniors would need extreme portions every single day. That's why relying on eating better doesn't fix the problem. The gap is simply too large. Here's the surprising part. When this deficiency is corrected, seniors often notice improvements quickly, not because it's a miracle, but because the body has been operating below baseline. Restoring energy production doesn't create superhuman strength. It restores normal function that should never have been lost. This isn't about supplements versus medication. It's about completing the protocol. Statins protect the heart, but they create a predictable deficiency. Correcting that deficiency doesn't weaken treatment, it strengthens it. When muscles work again, seniors move more, fall less, and maintain independence longer. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Most doctors aren't trained to think in terms of nutrient depletion caused by drugs. Medical education focuses on prescribing and adjusting doses, not restoring what medications silently drain. So when seniors complain of muscle pain, it's framed as expected, not fixable. This creates a brutal trap. Seniors are told the medication is essential, which it often is, but the side effects are treated as the price of survival. Over time, people stop questioning it. Pain becomes normalized, weakness becomes identity, and nobody tells them this trade-off was never necessary. Many patients are switched from one statin to another, hoping the pain will disappear. Sometimes it lessens temporarily, but the underlying mechanism doesn't change. The same pathway is blocked, the same energy deficit returns. That's why the cycle repeats again and again. Lowering the statin dose might reduce symptoms slightly, but it also reduces protection. Seniors are then forced to choose between weaker cholesterol control or persistent pain. That's not a solution. It's a compromise that benefits neither longevity nor quality of life. Now pause and ask yourself this. What if you never had to choose between heart protection and muscle strength at all? What if the decision you've been agonizing over for years is based on incomplete information? Muscles don't fail because they're old. They fail because they can't generate enough energy to repair themselves. When energy production drops, damage accumulates faster than recovery. Pain is simply the alarm system telling you something deeper is wrong. As we age, natural energy production declines, even without medication. Add a statin on top of that decline, and the deficit compounds. This is why younger patients tolerate statins better, and why seniors feel blindsided. This isn't just about arms and legs. The heart is a muscle too, the most energy-hungry muscle in the body. When cellular energy drops, endurance falls, breathlessness increases, fatigue creeps into daily life, often blamed on age rather than physiology. Some seniors are subtly made to feel their symptoms are exaggerated or psychological, but energy depletion can be measured. Blood levels drop, mitochondrial function slows. This is not perception, it's chemistry. Once you understand the mechanism, the solution stops sounding alternative and starts sounding obvious. Restore what's missing, and muscles regain the ability to function. Not perfectly, not forever, but enough to change daily daily life, which is what actually matters. Muscle pain often appears first because damaged muscle fibers scream before they fail. Weakness comes later. By the time strength visibly drops, energy failure has already been happening for months or years. That delay is why people don't connect the dots early. Inside your muscle cells, energy production doesn't collapse overnight. It slowly declines like a battery that never fully recharges. Each day feels manageable until suddenly it isn't. That's why seniors often say, "It hit me all at once," even though the process was gradual. Rest helps injury-related pain. This pain doesn't respond the same way. You can sleep more, exercise less, stretch more, and still feel sore. That's because the problem isn't overuse. It's fuel deficiency at the cellular level. Mitochondria are your muscle's power plants. When a key component is missing, energy output drops, even if calories are available. You're eating, you're moving, but your muscles can't convert either into usable power. Many seniors notice stiffness and pain are worst after waking. That's because overnight, muscles rely heavily on efficient energy recycling. When that system is impaired, mornings become brutal, slow, painful, discouraging. Without enough cellular energy, exercise becomes stress instead of stimulus. Instead of strengthening muscle, activity creates micro damage that can't be repaired. That's why some seniors feel worse after walking or light workouts, not better. Pain and weakness don't just limit movement, they destroy confidence. People stop trusting their bodies. They hesitate before stairs. They avoid uneven ground. Fear quietly replaces freedom long before a fall ever happens. Independence rarely disappears in one moment. It erodes through small decisions. I'll let someone else carry that. I won't go today. I'll sit this one out. Each choice feels harmless. Together, they reshape a life. Because decline is gradual, it's labeled as normal aging. That label shuts down investigation. Once something is called normal, it stops being treated, even when it's preventable. Here's the critical realization. If this were purely aging, there would be no lever to pull. But there is one, and once you pull it, everything downstream, pain, energy, strength, confidence, starts to shift. The lever is not exercise, motivation, or pushing through. It's a single molecule your muscles depend on to turn nutrients into energy. When it drops, strength drops, no matter how disciplined you are. Statins block a pathway used to make cholesterol. That same pathway also produces this energy molecule. When the pathway is blocked, cholesterol falls, and so does muscle energy production. Most doctors focus on blood markers they can measure quickly. Cholesterol is easy to track. Muscle energy is not. If something isn't on the standard lab panel, it often gets ignored. Statin muscle pain doesn't always show up immediately. Levels decline slowly. By the time pain appears, depletion has already crossed a functional threshold. Younger bodies compensate. Older bodies can't. Natural production of this molecule declines with age, so statins don't just reduce supply, they finish it off. Different statins use the same pathway. Switching brands may delay symptoms, but the depletion problem remains. That's why pain often returns weeks later. Your heart is a muscle with the highest energy demand in the body. When energy production drops, endurance falls. Breathlessness increases. Fatigue shows up where it scares people most. Pain causes less movement. Less movement causes faster decline. Decline reinforces fear. This loop accelerates aging far more than cholesterol ever could. Stopping removes protection against heart attack and stroke. The problem isn't the medication, it's the missing support system your muscles need to survive it. Once you replace what's being drained, muscles don't have to choose between protection and pain. And this is where the solution becomes unavoidable. You're not choosing between heart safety and daily pain. There's a third option that lets you stay protected and functional, but almost no one is told it exists. The missing molecule is coenzyme Q10. Your muscles use it to create energy. Without it, strength fades, even if you're eating well and staying active. Yes, CoQ10 exists in food, but in microscopic amounts. You'd need pounds of fish or meat every day to replace what statins drain. That's not realistic. Most people buy the wrong version. One form must be converted by the body before it works. Aging bodies struggle with that conversion. Ubiquinol is the active form. It bypasses conversion and delivers energy directly to muscle cells. This distinction decides success or failure. When people say CoQ10 did nothing, it's usually because they used the wrong form, wrong dose, dose or wrong timing. Below a certain dose, muscles don't respond. This isn't about sprinkling a little in. It's about crossing an energy threshold. CoQ10 is fat-soluble. Taken without fat, most of it passes straight through unused. Taken correctly, absorption triples. The earliest change isn't strength, it's morning movement. Standing up feels easier. The cement legs sensation loosens. When pain fades, confidence returns. And confidence is what keeps people moving, independent, and alive in their own homes. No, this effect shows up in blood tests, not just feelings. When CoQ10 levels rise, symptoms fall in direct proportion. Statin users consistently show 40 to 50% lower CoQ10 levels than non-users. That's not opinion, that's lab data. When supplementation restores CoQ10 to baseline, muscle pain drops, endurance improves, and recovery time shortens. Researchers didn't just ask patients how they felt, they measured blood levels. Improvement tracked exactly with CoQ10 restoration. Most doctors are trained to manage cholesterol numbers, not mitochondrial function. This blind spot leaves millions untreated. In Japan, CoQ10 is routinely paired with statins. Muscle pain rates are dramatically lower. Same drugs, different protocol. In the US and Europe, statins were adopted without the CoQ10 safeguard, a systemic oversight that never got corrected. All statins block the same pathway. Changing brands doesn't fix depletion, it just delays symptoms. People don't stop statins because they're careless. They stop because living in pain feels worse than an abstract future risk. Preventable muscle pain causes preventable heart attacks, not because statins are bad, but because the protocol is incomplete. This isn't theory, it's people like Margaret, 68 years old, independent, active, and suddenly unable to climb stairs in her own home. Her pain wasn't just physical. She felt embarrassed asking for help, ashamed that simple tasks made her feel weak, needing help with groceries, with stairs, with daily movement. This is what seniors fear more than death. She didn't want to stop her statin, but she also couldn't live like this. She felt trapped. No drug change, no dose reduction. One correction, replacing what the statin removed. Within 14 days, walking felt lighter. The cement legs sensation began to lift. By week 4, she carried her own groceries again, something she hadn't done in years. She didn't sit down once at her grandson's wedding. No pain, no fear, just movement. This isn't about comfort, it's about dignity, the ability to move without asking permission. If this could happen for her at 68, what's possible for you right now? You've always been independent, cooking, walking, playing with grandkids. Now muscle pain is trying to define who you are. Every twinge, every heaviness in your legs is your body telling you something's off, but most people ignore it. Statin-induced muscle pain isn't just discomfort. It slowly chips away at strength, confidence, and your freedom. Doctors tell you it's normal with age or suggest changing meds. That's not the real solution. That's settling. Every activity you avoid because of pain, walking, climbing stairs, picking up your grandchild, is stealing precious moments. There's a way to keep your heart protected and restore your muscle energy. You don't have to choose between health and freedom. Margaret, 68, went from struggling with stairs to dancing at her grandson's wedding, all without stopping her statin. The longer you wait, the more your muscles weaken and the harder it is to regain strength. Don't let time work against you. Imagine lifting your grandchild, walking upstairs without wincing, moving freely again. That's what's possible. If this could happen for Margaret in just a few weeks, what can happen for you starting today? Clinical trials show statin users who added CoQ10 had 40% less muscle pain in just 30 days. Measurable, undeniable results. The American Journal of Cardiology, Mayo Clinic, and Italian blood level studies all confirm CoQ10 restores energy and reduces soreness. Muscle strength, endurance, and overall energy all improved proportional to CoQ10 levels in the blood. Margaret, 68, was barely climbing stairs. 2 weeks of CoQ10 supplementation, she walked 2 miles pain-free. Ubiquinol is the active form your body can use immediately. Ubiquinone requires conversion, which slows results, especially after 60. 100 to 200 milligrams daily with a fat-containing meal is the sweet spot for most seniors. This ensures proper absorption and maximum effect. Choose softgel forms with third-party testing like NSF certified or USP verified to avoid avoid low-quality or ineffective supplements. Some feel better in a week. Most see major improvement by 4 weeks. Consistency is crucial for restoring muscle function. CoQ10 is generally safe, but always inform your doctor, especially if on blood pressure or diabetes medications. It may slightly affect levels. You don't have to choose between your heart and your freedom. With the right CoQ10 protocol, you can protect your heart and reclaim your energy. Take your CoQ10 every morning with a meal containing fat, eggs, avocado, or olive oil to maximize absorption and make it part of your daily routine. Margaret took hers with breakfast every day. Within 2 weeks, her legs felt lighter and walking became easier. This isn't a quick fix, but a simple, sustainable habit that gradually restores your energy and muscle strength. By week 4, patients like Margaret can climb stairs, carry groceries, and play with their grandchildren without constant pain. Imagine the relief of moving freely again, being independent, and not relying on others for everyday tasks. Daily use is key. Missing doses delays results. Think of it like brushing your teeth. Consistent effort gives lasting benefits. Always inform your doctor. Many doctors may not know the latest research, but showing studies can ensure proper support and monitoring. Gentle exercise, hydration, and anti-inflammatory foods enhance CoQ10's effect, giving faster and more noticeable improvements. Patients report not only less pain, but more energy, renewed independence, and joy from everyday activities. Real-life transformations. You can reclaim your life without giving up your statin. Your muscles, energy, and heart health can all improve together. CoQ10 is fat-soluble. Without fat in your meal, absorption drops to 10 to 20%. With fat, absorption jumps to 60 to 70%. This small detail makes all the difference. Use Ubiquinol, the active form, especially if you're over 60. Your body can use it immediately, unlike ubiquinone, which must be converted. 100 to 200 milligrams per day is ideal for most seniors. Too little won't help. Too much is wasteful. Find the sweet spot based on your statin dose. Choose soft gels, not tablets. Oil-based soft gels absorb better and deliver results faster. Check for NSF certified or USP verified labels. Many brands underdose or use cheap oils that degrade CoQ10. Quality matters. Some patients feel relief in the first week. Most see substantial improvement by week 4. Less soreness, more energy, and easier movement. CoQ10 is generally safe, but always inform your doctor, especially if on blood pressure or diabetes meds. It may slightly lower both. Margaret, 68, walked 2 miles within 2 weeks and carried groceries by week 4. She danced at her grandson's wedding without pain. James, 71, regained energy and played with his grandchildren after adding 150 milligrams of ubiquinol daily. His fatigue and weakness disappeared. You don't have to choose between your heart and your muscles. CoQ10 restores energy, reduces pain, and lets you enjoy life again. Take action today. Statins deplete CoQ10, causing fatigue, muscle soreness, and weakness. This is not just aging, it's a preventable side effect. The solution? Ubiquinol, 100 to 200 milligrams daily with a fat-containing meal. Soft gels with verified quality brands ensure absorption and effectiveness. Within 1 to 2 weeks, most patients notice less soreness, lighter legs, and easier movement. Relief grows steadily over 4 weeks. By week 4, energy returns. Daily activities become easier, and quality of life improves. Walking, chores, and playing with grandchildren are no longer painful. You don't have to accept pain as normal. Taking control with CoQ10 restores independence, mobility, and confidence. Imagine being able to carry groceries, play with your grandchildren, or dance at family events. These small moments are life-changing. A month's supply costs $20 to $35, about $1 per day, far cheaper than pain relievers, heating pads, or constant doctor visits. CoQ10 is safe for most people. Always inform your doctor, especially if you take blood pressure or diabetes medication. Minor effects may occur, but serious issues are extremely rare. Drop a comment. How long have you struggled with muscle pain from statins? Have you tried CoQ10 before? Sharing your experience helps others take action. You don't have to sacrifice heart health for muscle comfort. CoQ10 gives you both energy, strength, and freedom to enjoy life again. Take action today.